FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans.
Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air. Stand by.
Now, here's JP.
These last 3 years have been unbelievable, and definitely stings just as much as when we lost the first one for some of the guys that have been in. This is their fourth final, so it's a terrible feeling, but sometimes it's tough to take a step back and realize how hard it is to get in this position and how proud I am of how much we battled to get here. And listen, that's a great team over there. Obviously, congratulations to them. They deserve it. They're the champs, and but it's tough. I mean, I feel sick to my stomach for the guys because of how hard we grinded to get here. And two teams know that, obviously, and one team, found a way.
Steven Stamkos, the captain, encapsulating an unbelievable and unprecedented ride by the Tampa Bay Lightning over the last 8 years. 6 conference finals, 2 Stanley Cups, 4 Stanley Cup finals, unprecedented in the salary cap era. This is a story of a team that has gone from showtime hockey to grind time hockey and learned to win every which way you need to learn to win. But mostly they did it with grit. They did it with guts. They did it with mental toughness through an unprecedented COVID era. They did it with skill. They did it with championship medal. They did it with tremendous fan support, time in and time out. And although it feels like an end today after losing in a Stanley Cup final, it's anything but. This team will go on and live immortally in NHL history as one of the greatest teams and dynasties of all time. And it's not over by any stretch. It's not over. It may feel like it this morning, but it is not. It is far from over. And if you've learned anything about the championship grit and mettle of this team, they will be back. They will be back in force, and the Lightning will strike again. No question about it. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. Well, what a run. What a team. And we're going to spend a large part of this morning's show celebrating what this team has accomplished in the last 3 years, not wallowing in defeat. It's a tip of the cap, as Steven Stamkos said, to a Colorado Avalanche team that was just phenomenal and, frankly, fun to watch. And we'll talk about all that went on last night and went on within this series. We'll discover how beat up the Lightning were. And none of this is to take anything away from the Colorado Avalanche. This is not belly aching about the officials, which, again, were not great last night. And it just seems like every time they blow a call, it ended up in the back of the Lightning's net off a bad bounce. And I know that sounds like sour grapes. It's not. The Avs made their breaks. They did. They didn't allow the Lightning a shot in the final 10:30 or the first 10:30 of the third period when they had to have a goal. The Lightning didn't sniff it much even in the end in desperation. The Avs clamped them down like the Lightning have clamped down on other teams. And it was just a masterclass in protecting a lead. It's something they probably learned from the Tampa Bay Lightning. So it's a tip of the cap, but we're going to spend a lot of today celebrating what this team has accomplished over the last few years. Nick Geddes, Outkick.com, joining me here this morning. Your thoughts on this, I'd say, bittersweet day.
Yeah, and last night it took me a while to kind of gather my thoughts. I probably was the last person in Tampa Bay community to post something on Twitter. Just because, you have to post something, right? And I couldn't get my thoughts together on what I wanted to say. And I think I said it. The Avalanche, the team we just saw play the Lightning, that's an all-time team in their own right. Just like the Lightning are, that was a historic run for the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah.
We watched it.
Yeah.
They just went 16-4 in a postseason. The third period display they put on, we've seen that from the Lightning time and time again.
Yep.
That was one. I mean, I challenge you to find a third period closing in a Stanley Cup final better than that. I mean, that was an art. That was an art. And sometimes a team's just a little bit better than you, but it doesn't take anything away from what the Lightning have done. And when you started the show, you listed off the accomplishments of the past, 8 years? It's nutty stuff in a salary cap area.
Stunning.
This is the best team, the best franchise in the salary cap era. To me, there's no doubt about it. And last night takes nothing away from it. And the fight they still showed. Very proud of this team. But it stings. Every Stanley Cup final loss stings, no matter what. But very proud of what we saw with this team this year.
Yeah, boy, we've seen the Cup a lot in Tampa Bay. Even
Yes,
when we
have.
lose, we get a glimpse of the. I wasn't sticking around to watch the Avs circle.
You hightailed out of there.
Yeah, I got out of there pretty quick. But went home and watched it on TV and watched the celebration, watched the post game show. It was a very interesting series, and I think we're so used to dominating other teams that we kind of feel like the Avs were much better. I don't think they were much better, but they were clearly the better team.
Yes,
I don't think there's any question about that. Darcy Kemper, look, he's nothing special, but that just makes the accomplishment even more. They outskated the Lightning. They were faster than the Lightning. They were more skilled with their puck management. I've never seen the Lightning so befuddled on their penalty kill, on their power play, their breakouts. And I got to believe that not having Braden Point was a huge part of this. I'm not going to sit here and say if Braden Point plays, the Lightning definitely win the series. I don't think that's the case, but it's a much more competitive series. Think about it. They lose 2 overtime games. And look, I'm not belly aching about the refs, but the refs, that 6-man on the ice, that was, I will never relent on that one. That to me is every bit the New Orleans Rams NFC Championship game non-call. It's every bit of that same situation, championship situation. You blew a call that cost them the game. Now, would they have won the game for sure? No, we don't know that, but they go on the power play and have a chance to do it. That's one. They had plenty of opportunity to win. Their first period in game was it 4? Was dominant, and they should have got more than one goal. That may have been the best period that Darcy Kemper played. It may have been the period that won them the Cup, because that could have easily been a 3-0 first period. Lightning go on to win that. They're playing at home to win Game 6. So there were moments in this series that were huge that just didn't go the Lightning's way. I mean, you look at the goals last night, with the exception of McKinnon's goal. Once again, a lot of bounces that went Colorado's way. Now, but you look at the series and you say, well, they were more dominant. And so, I love what Cooper said there. You make your own breaks. When you're constantly in control of the puck, you're going to get some more good bounces.
Yeah, there's I think 3 things, you've heard this said before, that you need to win Stanley Cup championships, and that's you need great goaltending. You could debate that all you want about Darcy Kemper, I'm sure. You need great special teams. Colorado, absolutely check mark there. And you need puck luck. Mm-hmm. And let's face it, a lot of the goals Colorado scored Game 3, Game 4, and Game 5. And in Game 6, the second one, I'd argue, not the first one. The first one was just a great shot by McKinnon. Yep. A lot of them were the bounces. They just seemed to always go Colorado's way. And as a Lightning fan, I'm sure you're watching that going, damn it, like, why is this happening? And you might want to use the word lucky, but every team that's won the Stanley Cup gets incredible puck luck. It's part of the game. Yeah. Colorado got their breaks. I thought it was a good omen last night when Stamkos, we got our puck luck early in the game, and he gets the goal. I'm like, oh, here we go. Tide's turning just a little bit. But it didn't happen that way, which, again, it happens. But, yeah, you need those 3 things to win, and I think Colorado probably checked every single of that box. Lightning did not.
Before we get into playing some of the goals and a lot more of the interviews, we're going to hear from all the principals here in just a little bit. A couple other just notes on this. Cale Makar wins the Conn Smythe and the Norris Trophy at age 23. I think he's going to supplant Victor Hedman as the best defenseman in the league, but not by much. Heddy's still pretty damn good, but that kid is he's magical. He's magical, and he creates so much offense, and he's a great fit for the way they play. Nathan McKinnon was not great in this series, I didn't think. A couple of goals. One actually came off his stick, the other off his skate. I thought the Lightning did a good job of keeping him off. But they've got a deep team. But will they be able to keep it together? They've got Kadri's a free agent. They've got some other free agents. Yeah, so they're going to have real issues keeping this group together, as every salary cap team does. And we'll see what happens. But they're the early favorites for next year with the Toronto is second, and the Lightning are third. But it's the accomplishment of this Lightning team that I think we really have to take into consideration. 11 straight series wins. Think about that. 11 straight series wins in the salary cap era. It's the most. I'm not sure it's ever going to be touched, to be quite honest with you. That is a record I think that will stand for quite some time. And it is a testimony to their guts. And, again, we talked a little bit about this last week. The people that call it the COVID cups and all this bullshit is just unbelievable, because everybody had a chance to win those cups, and the Lightning were the most mentally tough and able to fight through all of the extra stuff that you had. They still had to win it on the ice, like you always have to do in the Stanley Cup, the toughest trophy to win, but then throw all that other stuff in. Come on. That's to me, that shows the mental toughness of this group and the way that they've evolved and been able to win in so many different situations in so many different ways. It's been a virtuoso performance of coaching and execution and grit and guile and guts, just more than anything, just flat out guts.
Yeah, one thing this playoff run showed me in this Stanley Cup final, and this goes for both teams, if you didn't understand it already, the Stanley Cup is the hardest trophy to win in sports.
Bar none.
It's the hardest trophy to win in sports, the grind it takes. I mean, last night, this play will probably go down in infamy or down in the history books, whatever you want to call it, for Colorado. And that's Landeskog blocking the shot from Kucherov and being carried off the ice by McKinnon while he crawls. I mean, as a Lightning fan, you go, damn it, why did he block that shot? If you sit back, you go, that's what you got to do in a Stanley Cup final. And it's a captain who's been a captain since 19 years old who was doing it. So all the credit to that, but I see plays like that. I see plays like Stamkos blocking shots earlier in the playoffs with his hand
going down a tunnel.
I mean, Chernak, who by the way, again, last night goes down the tunnel.
One. Yep.
I mean, and Pat Maroon said it after the game, you're going to be shocked when you see the injury list come out. This is the hardest championship to win. You see it on the ice and you see the effort that it takes to win it. So yeah, I think if anything, as a hockey fan, I have more of an appreciation now, I think, than the last few runs of how hard it is to win. It's
unbelievable. All right, we'll go to the goals, goal by goal. And it started really well for the Lightning. I thought their jump early on, I turned to Brian Bradley and I said, man, I don't think I've seen them play this hard all playoff. I mean, their hair was on fire. They came out on fire and really, really carried the play early on, got a bunch of early chances, and then got a power play early on, which I'm not sure they even got a shot on, but shortly after the power play, Kucherov and Palat go into the corners, and it bounces to Stamkos, and he rams it home.
Tops it for Palat. Across the blue line center point. Bumps it right point Chernak. Right circle Kucherov. Kucherov wheels behind the net. He's checked by Nathan McKinnon. Kucherov trying to keep it alive. Makar takes it away, loses it. Here's Stamkos open in front. Score! Stamkos! The Lightning forced their turnover, and Stamkos has made it 1-0 Lightning with 16:12 left in the first.
You said it, David. He forced the turnover. Kucherov, Palat did yeoman's work behind the net of the Avalanche, forcing the play. First, McKinnon knocked him down, but Kucherov kept pushing with the puck with his stick, kept pushing, and he did it, and it hit Palat's skate, back to Stamkos, and he put it between the legs of Kemper.
Boy, really, that's the start you want. The crowd is into it. I thought the crowd was great last night.
Fantastic last night.
Man, the crowd was as loud as I've ever heard them all season long. I even said that on my intermission report. It's like, you guys are in full throat. Stanley, and I really felt like, the Lightning are going to ride this momentum to 2 or 3 goals in the first period, and they can run away with this one. And Vasilevsky will make it stand up. But it didn't happen that way. The Avalanche forced their will on the Lightning, turned the tables, I think, about at the 8-minute mark, and really didn't look back because they dominated the second period as well.
It's kind of how the series has gone on, right? The Lightning have had good starts in most of the games. I mean, I say that knowing the Lightning went down 2-0 in game 1 and 2-0 in game 2, and I think they surrendered the goal in game 3 as well. But at least the back half of the series, the Lightning got off to great starts, maybe didn't do as much with it as they should have or that you wanted them to.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference in Colorado starting out with 2-0 leads in the first 10 minutes and the Lightning starting out with a 1-0 lead.
Right.
That's the difference right there. But Colorado just seemed to get better and better as every game went on, and clearly looked like they were pushing harder than the Lightning in most of these scenarios.
All right, so the first period ends 1-0. The Lightning out hitting them 18-17, 35 total hits in the first. This was a more physical series than I think people realize. There was a lot of hitting in this series, and the Lightning were just really, really banged up. So we go to the second period, and this is where the Avs take control.
Gabe Landeskog's got a penalty pending against Tampa Bay. Comes back to Byron McCross. Scores! Game tied! It's Nathan McKinnon.
Well, frustration gone for McKinnon. Finally an open shot, and there's the new mask. It can't help but think that it has some sort of an effect. There's a chance to clear the zone. Instead, it's kept alive. Landeskog to the outside, and the kick out. Look at missed coverage there. Paul and Hedman just a little bit late. Byron with the hard pass, and the one-timer finds a way underneath the arm as Vasilevsky was sliding back to the post. See if you can see the daylight under the blow. It beat the blocker to the side. I thought it might have been between the arm and the body. Instead, the quick shot. Now,
yeah, they were talking about. I think Vasi. He got a new helmet there. I think.
The play before.
Yeah. And then they didn't get the clear. So how many times did we see the Lightning not able to clear the zone and it end up in their net? That was another thing. This Avalanche team is so good at anticipating where the clears are coming from and stopping them. They were just really, really good at that, and that gives them more zone time. I mean, time and time again, the Lightning tried to clear all series long. It just couldn't get clears. It's so frustrating. And as soon as they kept it in, you go, oh no.
Yeah.
And it ends up in the back of the net so many times.
Well, a couple of things on that goal. And you may have missed this being at the arena, but over TV it was different. The refs were kind of huddling up. I don't know if you noticed that in the arena.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out what they were talking about.
The Lightning had it. There was a delayed penalty on the Lightning at the time.
Right.
If you recall, when the puck was down there, Nick Paul had possession of it.
Yeah,
and the penalty kind of happened simultaneously as Paul had the puck.
Right.
But the ref's arm had not gone up yet, signaling delayed penalty. So then Nick Paul started skating with it, but then you saw the puck kind of got away from him and he was chasing after it.
Right.
He never once touched it, that entire sequence, while the referee had his arm up in the air, signaling delayed penalty. So that's what the Lightning were arguing, that he had control of the puck when the penalty took place.
Gotcha.
That's what happened there. And then, which is a game of inches, obviously, in the Stanley Cup Final. And then, obviously, that great view there from behind the net of how it just barely snuck its way through Vasilevsky.
Yeah, but getting beat to the short side there is not.
It's been his weakness all postseason.
That blocker side has just been a little, but that's not one that he normally gives up. And McKinnon gets his first goal of, as I said in my intermission report, his first goal that came off his stick. That's bad. True, though. Absolutely 100% true. All right. So then once again, the refs playing a part in this goal as this sequence, Bellemare gets hooked. There's a takeaway. And then Cirelli, I believe, is tripped as he's trying to get back. It ends up in a 3-on-2. And the pass goes off McDonough State right to Lehkonen, who takes a bouncing puck and just whacks at it, and it goes top shelf just inside the post. Call it luck if you want, call it skill, call it whatever, but it's a goal, and it's 2-1.
On the far side, Mikko Rantanen. Up ahead, Manson. 3-on-2. McKinnon tried to give it back. Just scores! Arturi Lehkonen.
The Lightning are just irate as Manson knocked his man down. That created the odd man rush. Look at the argument there. Maroon better be careful not to take an extra one and follow the bouncing puck. It's a play by McKinnon in the middle that just chips it over to Lehkonen. But going the other way, watch the takedown here. Stick into the body. Down goes Bellemare. Up goes Manson, and then this one bouncing in the middle. A pass across and just a quick release. Look at Vasilevsky was sliding over to his right, and we've seen so often him being able to track those. Manson tries to pass. McKinnon tries it back, and the quick release beats Vasilevsky over the glove. And then look at the reaction. Bellemare wanted a call. McDonough wanted a call.
They all wanted a call, but it ends up in the back of your net. I mean, that seems like a pretty obvious call right there. But look, it's the Stanley Cup Final. You're not going to get the whistle unless somebody's got an appendage on the ice. We get it. And they score, make it 2-1. Now, I would have bet a lot of money that the Lightning would come back and push, and Avalanche would score again as well. But that ends up being all the scoring in this one. 2-1 is the final, and it's the closeout of the Avalanche in that final period. That was just, nobody scored a goal, but that was a virtuoso performance. If you love watching puck management, that was a class right there. That was amazing.
It's what you have to do to win the Stanley Cup. And the Lightning had to learn that lesson a hard way. Colorado's had to learn that lesson a hard way by going out 3 straight years in the second round. And obviously learning how to play a different style game, getting the right guys in the building like the Lightning have done to do. I mean, that's what I said when the series started. I think Colorado's mirrored almost what the Lightning have done, or are trying to make their own history here, which they obviously did last night. So you just have to give credit to it. I was surprised, though, the lack of push. And I know a lot of that is obviously what Colorado did.
Absolutely.
But there was just that third period. That third period was hard to watch.
I would say they're out of gas. They were trying hard, but the Avs were just better.
Mark Messier said it after the game. He said the heart was there, the legs weren't.
The legs weren't. I would agree with that.
I think, the best way to sum it up.
I want to welcome in Avs in 6 commenting. Please don't blame the refs and make excuses. Look at the total series stats. You would assume it was a sweep with how bad the Avs controlled the games, minus game 3. Pat Maroon didn't get a penalty for slashing. Yeah, we said all that earlier on. You must not have been with us from the beginning of the show. Now, full credit to the Avs. The Lightning have gotten some breaks over their run. So the Avs got plenty of breaks in this one, but they controlled the play, as we said many, many times on this show. There's still 2 overtime games in this series, and I think the Lightning obviously had the better goaltender. I mean, when you looked at expected goals above average or whatever that stat is, Vasi was plus 6.9 in games 3 through 5, and Kemper was minus 2.9. That's part of the game. Who had the better goalie? The Lightning clearly did. It makes up for a lot, no doubt about it, but that's hockey. The Avs controlled it, but it was a closer series because Vasilevsky. And again, without Pointer, and I know the Avs were missing some players as well. Kadri didn't play the whole thing, obviously. But look, Pointer's our best player, our best two-way player. There's no question about it. That hurt the Lightning, no question. But full marks to the Avs. They are the champions. They deserved it. And they're a worthy champion. I mean, if you're the Lightning, you're not hanging your head because you lost to a scrappy team and they got a couple of lucky goals. That's not the case at all. They were the better team. That full admission, by a little. I wouldn't say by much. When you throw in Vasilevsky, that's part of it. And the Lightning, they still have plenty to be proud of, no doubt about it.
And the braided point thing, I don't like to make excuses, and I told you I'm not going to sit out here and tell you if he plays or winning the series,
right? And
you said that as well. That's not what I'm saying. But how many power play goals the Lightning score in the series?
One for 16,
and I think it was a 4-on-3 if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yeah.
So, and I that was a theme, honestly, even in the Florida series and the New York series, you could see without Braden Point in the middle there, the difference between him and Corey Perry, it's large.
Yeah.
It's large.
Oh, yeah.
And even just the puck movement part. Because for everything that Corey Perry's doing is probably 2 times slower, if not 3 times slower,
right,
than how Braden Point's doing it. And even Killorn, I think, was Killorn on the first power play unit? He usually is.
Sometimes, yeah.
But obviously, he goes a whole postseason without scoring a goal.
Yeah, which is a very un-Killorn.
Which is un-Killorn. And I know we kept saying that it was because they're asking that line to do a lot more. But in the same vein, Cirelli had scored some goals.
Yeah.
Hagel had a lot of shots. I don't know if Killorn even had how many scoring chances did he have?
Not many.
There was not much. And he's one of those guys where I'd be curious to see the injury report on.
Yeah.
Because I think clearly he just did not look like he had much jump down the stretch here. But yeah, when you have stuff like that happen, I mean, you need your role players to step up. The Lightning at times felt like it was going to be the Stamkos, Kucherov, Palat line.
Right.
And if not, then who knows?
Yeah. And I'd say the Lightning just looked dramatically slower without Point. Without him flying down the ice every now and then.
Yeah, and in this series against a team that fast, and that's your fastest player, I'd argue, it is part of I'm not trying to make excuses, but it is part of
course. It's a reason. It's a reason.
It's part
fine.
of it.
You can mention it. It's not, again, not making excuses. It's a reason. Avs in 6 lets me know, let's be real. If the Avs had a Vasi, this would have been a sweep. Well, duh. And you'd also have to pay that goaltender money too. Yeah, if we had Makar, it would have gone our way. So I mean, that's a ridiculous comment. But thank you for chiming in, Avs and 6. Yeah, we'll take another Stanley Cup Final next year against you guys. Absolutely, it was fun. I loved it every bit. And I think it was, the exception of Kadri's goal. I didn't have a huge part of their sportsmanship and everything else. I thought it was, it's going to get chippy. Guys are going to get some tough hits, but I thought it was a pretty respectful series in that regard. All right, let's get to some of the sound. By the way, Dave Randorf's going to join us here at 10:30 in just a few minutes. Voice of the Lightning. So let's get to some more sound. Maybe we got a little John Cooper there. Here's Coop after the series speaking to the media.
And I'm bringing the heartbeat of our organization, the coaching staff, up. And we stand here and when we victory and we stand here in defeat. But these are the guys, you see my face all the time, but these are the guys that make it all happen. And anyway, if you got questions, it's for all of us.
What was your message to the group at a moment like this after the run you guys have had?
It's tough because it's so raw. We haven't been through this feeling in 3 years. But if you take a step back, I don't have a speech prepared. I didn't think we were going to lose the game. So it's hard to come in 5 minutes after. And so you just speak from the heart. But you remember the teams you win with. Regardless of the league you're coaching in, you'll always remember those teams. You don't remember as much the ones you don't win with. I will always remember this team for what they endured, what they went through to get to this point. You have to marvel at them. It's a little shock and awe of what this group accomplished to get here. And it was different than the other ones. It was just different. The back against the wall, the teams we faced, like you go through the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Florida Panthers, and it's not even driving. Who do we play after? The Rangers. That's how worn out I am. We had never had home ice. We played all these star-studded teams, and they found a way. And we just ran into one more brick wall, and we just couldn't get through this one. But the 3 teams that we played they could be sitting up here out in the ice right now, raising Stanley Cup. That's how good they were. And so anyway, I told the guys, just marveled at what they did.
Let's stop it there for a second because he mentioned the teams they played. I don't know if we mentioned it, but did you know that the Lightning were the first team to ever play 4 50-winning teams in the regular season?
Yeah.
And not one team had only played 2. And the Lightning had to play 4. And they had to be on the road in every single one with an injury list that's probably God knows how long.
Very difficult to do.
So, again, the theme of today is just kind of marveling, like the word that John Cooper said, and what this team has done. And that, to me, is just another example of it right there.
No question about it. And I can't wait to see that injury list too. Not that it's an excuse, not making an excuse, but just to find out what these guys were actually dealing with. A little bit more from Coop.
Yeah.
Then we'll get to Dave Randorf.
Go back row on the right.
John, just moments ago, Pat Maroon said that we'll be surprised when the injury reports come out. Just how bad were the boys beat up going into this series?
I don't know what will ever be released, but a lot of these guys, what they put themselves through, it's mind-boggling. But we would have had half our minor league team playing if it was the regular season. There's no question. And that's why that's never felt this about a team. You get the bumps and bruises, and guys are, nicked up here and there, but nothing like I saw with this group, and nothing that we witnessed when they came back. Like the fact that they did come back, the heart of champions. And I'm telling you, first of all, the Colorado Avalanche are a class act and an exceptional hockey team. Like, they bettered us, and we have no bones to pick. Never ever sit here and say, oh, we should have beat that team. We were right with that team. But like I told you earlier in the series, you make your breaks and you get your breaks. And you know what? All I could think, the only break I'm going to think of is Cooch breaking a stick in the 6-on-5. And those are the things that happen, but you need all that stuff to win. And so Joe Sakic, Jared Bednar, and that whole crew, like, that's a hell of a hockey team. And that's our guys should hang high. It's not like we lost to some powder puff. That's a baller hockey team over there. So,
amen to that.
You know, in saying that, it doesn't make it less easy because you have to beat good teams when you win a Stanley Cup. But we got bettered by one tonight, and we just ran out of gas, and it sucks.
Front left, Sergey.
Coach John Cooper right there. I think that really encapsulated it very well. All right, quick break. When we come back, the voice of the Lightning, Dave Randorf, will join us. We'll get his thoughts on this incredible run by the Lightning and this series with the Avalanche. Stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they begin.
Extreme sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back. Let's bring in the voice of our Tampa Bay Lightning, the great Dave Randorf, joining us here as he did last night in my Lightning Vision studio for our intermission report. We thought we might have an equalizer in the third last night, Dave, but it was not to be. But what a run by this team, huh? Incredible.
Absolutely. I know there's a lot of Lightning fans, players, you could see, I was down around the room last night for our post-game coverage, and, you could definitely see the disappointment and the realization that this particular run is over. A lot of players are saying, hey, we're not done yet, and they will be good again next season for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, officially comes to an end, and in the moment, I think it really kind of hit hard. But you know, when the sun comes up today, they'll look at it as a coaching staff and as a whole team and a whole group, and you know, have nothing but pride for what they accomplished and what they did for this organization and this fan base and this whole city in terms of Lightning hockey. I mean, it's been an epic run, one that will be talked about for years around the NHL, around the hockey world, to be, you know, to win 2 cups in a row the way they did, and condensed schedules and all the craziness of the COVID year, and then to be 2 wins away from, you know, another one, a third one in a salary cap era, against 4 teams that, you know, listen, make no mistake, take nothing away from Colorado, but the Lightning's path was far more challenging. You know, you had one of the top teams in the Leafs, you had the top team in the Florida Panthers, and you had a very good Rangers team with the Vezina Trophy wear, you know, in between the pipes, and you know, they took care of all that, and then pushed a very good Avalanche team as far as they could. So there's a lot to love about what we've had the privilege of watching here, and it should be, and I know it is going to be appreciated by Lightning fans everywhere.
And Dave, you know, you got a really good view from the inside of what these guys had to go through. And you know, I read from other fans this, it's, you know, you didn't win a real cup, it's a COVID cup, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, do you know how mentally tough you had to be? Every team had the same opportunity, but the Lightning had showed a mental toughness and a grit, and as you've described on this show many times, they had a lot of versatility. They could win so many ways. I mean, just talk about how much more they had to go through, and this BS notion of you didn't win a real cup. I think it's just silly.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one for a while. I thought that kind of died down.
Yeah, no, it's been all over Twitter.
Down.
Yeah,
I really do. I give that zero, credence whatsoever. I mean, and you talk to other players and other teams and other coaches, and they will completely look at you like you have 2 heads because of what was involved. There's a condensed schedule, the restart, are you talking about the first cup, right?
Both, yeah. I mean, this the run, the back-to-back.
Both.
Yeah.
I don't even. I don't get it. So, listen, the world was the way it was.
Yeah.
And in those 2 years, and everybody was out. Athletes, as you well know, are creatures of habit and routine, and nothing was routine.
Yes.
Zero, including the first one where they were on the road for how long? You know, weeks upon weeks in 2 different cities, going from hotel to rink, playing in front of nobody, and yet bringing an intensity that's as if they were playing in front of the environment that we experienced last night, or say in Game 5 in Denver.
Yeah.
So it still comes with the same bumps and bruises, and the same determination, and the same will and belief and commitment, and resilience to play through injuries and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I really don't even think we should really waste any time measuring whether or not these cups were real or not. That's just not the case, because I'm here to tell you, you know, men and women who work in the hockey world, or players who play the game, just think that's a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Dave Randolph joining us here. And as we look at this particular series, you know, I think if you're being objective, the Avs, I think, were the better team. They skated better. They were faster. I think the Lightning showed great experience. They showed great grit. They showed great skill. They have the best goalie in the world. I think that was a bit of an equalizer. But in the end, and again, not an excuse, not having Braden Point was a huge, huge part of what happened here. And it just, like Coach Coop said, it kind of felt like the Lightning just ran out of gas. And again, not to take nothing away from the Avs, but I think these are valid reasons. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you know, you and I spoke in the second intermission on your the Lightning Vision in the bowl there to the fans, and I really, and I think I said, and we said, you and I both, that we expected, you know, a real desperate push in the third period, and it just, they reached down. It's like you reached down with your hand into that bowl, and there was nothing to grab onto, right? I mean, they had zip. They really, you know, and I say that just being completely objective, they had nothing in the tank. They didn't get a shot until halfway through the third period, with their whole run on the line there at home. The crowd, and they were only one goal away. And for my money, they really only had one chance, and it was the Kucherov shot and a save by Kemper with about, I want to say, 6 minutes to go. And that was it. And that's all they could muster. And listen, Braden Point, every team deals with injuries. The Avalanche had their fair share as well.
Yep.
Every team along the way deals with adversity and not having a guy out, but you're talking your number one center, and a guy who's built for clutch situations like last night to create a little bit more offensively and a little bit more push. But I feel badly having gotten to know Braden over the last couple of years. He's we all know he's a gamer. He's a hockey player.
Yeah.
And I feel for anybody, a pointer or anybody else in that kind of situation where you got to sit and watch and can't help your team. You feel helpless. So no doubt, not having him was a factor. And I think just all the miles, I equated to, I was joking with this with my wife because she loves the movie, but they were like the car in Tommy Boy that's going down the highway. It's falling apart. The doors are flying off and everything's, coming apart. They're still trying to chuck down the road. But eventually, the pieces just aren't sticking on the body anymore. And that's kind of the way to look at it. They didn't have anything there to push to the final end. And Colorado came out determined to finish, to put an end to this. And hats off, tip of the cap, stick taps, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The better team won. The better team won this series.
And Dave, without Braden Point in the lineup, I thought this was maybe the first of the Lightning's runs here. Now, the 4 cups, where Steven Stamkos, I thought, was the best player for the Lightning on most nights than not. And I wish the Lightning obviously would have scored more goals last night, but I thought it was kind of fitting that guy gets the last goal of the season at Amalie, given the season that he had. Can you just kind of, the whole thing, regular season, playoffs, the leadership, the grit he showed, just sum up Steven Stamkos' season for us here? Because I thought it was maybe his best.
Yeah, I completely agree. And in a season in which he becomes the franchise's all-time leading scorer, hits 100 points for the first time in his career, this stage of his career. When this season began, it's another short summer for them, and there's a lot of talk about we're still hungry. Let's do this again. And I'm sure there's people everywhere, including members of Bolts Nation, who are thinking, "Wow, can they really do that?" Well, who was leading that charge and leading that talk and setting that standard every day on and off the ice, because I saw it with my own 2 eyes, was their captain, Steven Stamkos. He played every game. We all know Steven's history of unfortunately suffering injuries here and there. He played every game except for one this year, and he only missed it because he had to race home for the birth of his son, Chase. So, he played healthy. He played great. Over 40 goals and over 100 points, and a spectacular career performance for him in the playoffs. And I agree. There he was last night, not only scoring the goal early, but being physical, battling. Some frustration set in for every guy near the end there, but that's just because that's sports, and these guys are still battling, and they could sense it that it was coming to a close. But when you look back on this season, as a group, they were tremendous, but couldn't agree with you more. I think he is as if we didn't already know the true character of Steven Stamkos. It came shining through this year in terms of his leadership and his character, and a reason why he will be, the greatest member of the Lightning to ever play for this team when he's done.
Totally concur. I never wear jerseys, and the Lightning gave me this Stamkos jersey many years ago. I had to wear it for today's show because just the respect I have for him, the season that he put together, and his career, and watching him. I've covered him since he was drafted, and watching how he's evolved as a leader more than anything else, I think, is the reason why this team has these 2 cups and all this run. He just has become such a great leader in every way, shape, or form, and leading on by example on the ice. One last question for you, Dave, as we look forward. This is a team that's not going anywhere, as we know. They've got Nick Paul and Andre Palat as unrestricted free agents. I think there's a chance they'll find a way to bring both of those guys back. What are your thoughts on this moving forward? They've got some guys waiting in the wings down at Syracuse. I think could definitely impact this team as well.
Yeah, let's be honest here. That there's no Braden Point in Syracuse right now. There's no surefire NHLers. There's a couple of guys they've got aspirations and hopes for to be solid NHLers, but there's no front line, top line, center or winger right there right now at the moment.
Right.
Again, this team's been very good organizationally at drafting and developing the second D, which is always important. So
Yeah.
so we'll see what what transpires. Having said that, this team is going to be different. There's going to be changes. There always is. It's a business. You have a salary cap. I don't pretend to know all the maneuvers that they could pull off to fit everybody back in, or whether or not you make those hard decisions on guys like Andre Palat. Or, if Palat doesn't play another game for the Lightning, what a way for him to go out. A fantastic run, another clutch goal in Game 5 to allow us to have one more home game for this season, and such a nice person. We all know his story by now, a 7th round afterthought pick in his 2nd year of eligibility, by the way. So, he's just such a great story, and the whole story about his family holding the watch party over in Czechia,
That's great.
with 100 people in the middle of the night watching that Game 5. He's a wonderful person to be around, always says hello, always has a smile when we're, traveling around. But there are decisions to be made, and they may make a hard one with him. And kudos to him, because you know what? He'll get paid, and he'll go somewhere else, and he will always be remembered as one of the all-time great Lightning players here, no matter what transpires. So there are going to be changes. I know they'd love to keep Nick Paul. Paul had an excellent run here in Tampa Bay since being acquired. I'm sure there was a lot of Lightning fans listening right now who had no clue, really, who even Nick Paul was. He was a depth guy on a bad, NHL team in Ottawa that really hadn't accomplished much.
Yeah.
I'd seen him a fair amount because I'd done a lot of games in Canada, but he exceeded all expectations. You talk about getting a lot out of his skill set. He did that, and don't forget, he scored both goals in a Game 7 way back in the first round.
That's right.
On the road in Toronto, in the town he grew up in, to break their hearts. And he was, for my money, an excellent acquisition, and I know they want to try to keep him, but again, it's dollars and cents that will determine that. But that's for another day. I think this should be a day of looking back on what was an amazing run. Think of all the times you either were at a game, or watched a game, or listened to a game, and just thought, wow, what a team. Enjoy it, because it's not always like that. And this has been a heck of a run, and they're going to be good again, but this has been an amazing run.
Well, Dave, thank you so much for your time. As always, really appreciate your professionalism, and you've done a hell of a job taking over for a Hall of Famer. We haven't missed a beat, and we really appreciate your time as always. So relax, get to know your wife again, and enjoy the short off season, because we'll be back at it soon enough.
Thanks. I appreciate that. And you are referring to Rick Peckham, who has become a good friend. In fact, I'm looking forward to playing golf with Rick in a couple of days.
Right,
so
good.
I will have a great time breaking this whole season down with Rick. So
I hope to have you guys out.
Thanks a lot.
Hope to have you both out to Palmacia, and there'll be a lot of
You got
chatter
my
in that
number.
foursome. I love it. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
You got it.
The great Dave Randolph right there from Valley Sports Sun. They did a great job too with their post game shows. I wish they could do the cups. I'd much rather watch our hometown guys. But of course, no one would watch the national broadcast in those markets if they did that. So we really appreciate them and all Valley Sports, the great group.
Yeah, the couple great things he said there. I mean, obviously touching on Andre Palat. I think that's what honestly stung me the most, is you saw the image of Palat kind of on his knees, hunched over.
Yeah.
And it kind of had that look like he knows.
Yeah.
Or it could be, at least. And it's just, you want guys to go out on top. And you could argue, yeah, you did go out on top. You were obviously the driving force of this team in the big moments. And I guess you finally got your flowers all these years later.
Yeah.
And that's great. But can they bring him back? I don't know. He just made himself a lot of money if he wants it.
It depends on how other teams see him.
Yeah.
If they see him more of a product of the system and taking advantage of his opportunities, and gets a lot of money, then he will. And I'm not saying that's who he is. I mean, he's a hell of an underrated player. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Those don't just happen by accident.
Yeah. And I've kind of felt like, you look at the history of the Lightning in this run. I go back to, honestly, I break up this organization in two 10-year spreads. Like the first 10 years, I go 2000 and 2000 when Stamkos got here, and it started changing. There's 3 definitive forward groups you kind of think of. Follow me here, which is like the first one was LeCavier, St. Louis, Richards.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the third man in that equation? It was Brad Richards.
Richards, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In this one, it's Stamkos, Kucherov. And I know people would say Point, but I would honestly put Andre Palat there just because of the longevity. I feel like he's that third man that kind of goes under the radar a little bit, maybe won't have his number up there in the ceiling, but you couldn't do it without him. And I kind of like feel it's the same way you could draw the comparison to the first great teams the Lightning had.
Well, when you go back and look at his overall numbers for the Lightning, sometimes it doesn't feel like he's an all-timer, but the numbers suggest differently.
They are, yeah.
I mean, he is their leading, I think their first or second leading scorer in playoff history.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his postseason numbers are unbelievable. And he eclipsed 400 points this year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I mean, his numbers are going to stand up because of the longevity here and the postseason. I mean, the Lightning have been in the postseason almost every year he's played. And you start racking up a lot of numbers, and those mean something. I'm not saying he's going to the Hall of Fame, but there may be a day when we say, man, does that number belong in the rafters?
Maybe.
I mean, it's because it's going to be LeCavalier, Marty St. Louis, Stamkos, and then Kucherov probably, and
Vasilevsky, Hedman.
But number 5 on all the scoring lists, postseason and everything, is probably going to be Andre Palat. That's when you're in the top 10, you're top 5. That's
well, if you're looking
that's lofty. That's lofty company right there.
If I had to make the case for him, I'd probably point to this playoff run first and foremost.
Yeah,
because you look at all the big goals he scored.
Yeah,
I mean, we
3 game winning goals, 11 goals total to tie Stamkos. They led the team in scoring. Hell yeah,
I know. And this is actually the first time I think we've been on the air since Game 5.
Yeah,
right. And I know, we're not going to talk about that game now, obviously, but still, Andre Palat, he, of course, had to be the one to put the puck in the back of the net when the Lightning needed it most.
Yeah. And
that's been the theme. So, yeah, Andre Palat, just an underappreciated player that I'm glad to see is getting his due now. And who knows? I mean, maybe one day he gets it up there. Who knows?
Well, if he stays,
by all means, there's more records to be broken.
Absolutely. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into the Rays, the big sweep over the Pirates. And then 11 o'clock, Brian Bradley's going to join us. And Greg Wolf, our in-game host, will take us behind the scenes of this incredible run at 11:45. So lots of celebrating to continue here as we celebrate this Lightning Dynasty run. Stay with us. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
And a liner in the right, a base hit. Here comes Joy. Bruin hits to the plate. Reed's with it. What a finish. Brady comes through, and the Rays swarm the field. They are walk-off winners, 6-5.
The Rays on Saturday with the walk-off there. Itzhak Paredes with the 0-2 rocket to right, scores 2 when they were down to their final strike, down a run. And they come back in a dramatic fashion. They also walked it off on Friday with Harold Ramirez, and then then Shane McClanahan strikes out 10 yesterday, and they get a 4-2 win despite some dreadful base running. Get a couple of big hits and win it 4-2 and sweep the Pirates. And now 8 games back over 500, and exactly what they needed after getting spanked by the Yankees.
Yeah, a feel-good series win for the Rays. And I expect them, even with the injuries, to beat up on the Pirates. But they got the sweep. That's what you need to do. Kind of claw your way back into things here. Yep. They're back in a playoff spot. The hottest hitter on the planet, I think, is Isak Paredes right now, by the way. I think I tweeted after the walk-off. I was like, okay, they won the trade. I'm ready to concede because
he's not an all-star yet. He hasn't got the 106 RBIs, but
he might be an all-star this year. I don't know.
He's doing okay.
He's been pretty damn good. 10 for his last 18. This guy better win AL Player of the Week honors. How about this? If you need an indication how good he's been, WRC plus, he has a 165. That's 9th best in the MLB right now.
That's pretty good.
9th best in the MLB.
And he's carrying this team,
and he's been carrying this offense.
Yeah.
So much so where yesterday, Shane McClanahan, I don't know what it is about not getting run support in his starts. He had no hit stuff yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
He had no hit stuff.
He's had that almost every time out
almost
this year.
Every start this year.
Yeah.
He's been fantastic. He should start the All-Star game at the moment, in my opinion.
I don't think there's any question about that.
But yesterday, it's like Isak Paredes, I think, had 3 hits, and it's just like, can somebody else please get a hit? And in that 7th inning, the Rays finally get those hits. G-Man Choi, who's been the other hot hitter in this lineup over the past couple of weeks, comes up big, and the Rays get a 4-2 victory, after the late home run given up. Over the Pirates, you get a sweep. Now a quick 2-game set against the Brewers. So good feel-good win or series win for the Rays, what they needed.
Yeah, they're off today, and then they'll get Milwaukee. And they've had, just an unbelievable run of bad base running. I would say probably would have won three or four more games. They have 34 outs on the bases right now, which is by far the most in the majors. Yesterday, Choi is held up at third, and Ramirez runs right into him. Another out, critical, kills the inning. This idea that every time you're on third base and the ball is contacted, that you have to run home. Diaz did it again yesterday. He was out by a mile. Why do we do that? Is this just an analytics rule that every time you're on base on third, you have to run if it's a ground ball? I see how many times have they done this, and they're out by a mile. Like, is there no room to kind of read the play, or are these guys? I can't believe these guys are just doing this on their own because they got no shot. I don't know. I don't get it, but it boggles the mind that they're 8 games over 500, and they keep, from a fundamental standpoint, keep making ridiculous fundamental errors.
Well, it's a good thing that they're 8 games over.
I know.
500
I guess
with everything that's gone on. And hey, yesterday, you talk about excitement. Wander Franco is back. And his presence, I just feel completely different about this team when he's in the lineup, when he's out there. And this was cool yesterday. I was driving in downtown Tampa yesterday on 75. And I saw this. Have you seen the Wander Franco billboard?
Oh, yeah.
Where it's just like his chest, kind of. And you can kind of tell because of his batting gloves. And it has the number 5 chain hanging.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that.
Diamond crusted. I
hadn't seen that till yesterday. I thought that was just great. But it got me really excited to go watch him play, obviously. Maybe take a little bit for him to get back into the swing of things. But no doubt about it, the Rays are a much better team when he's in there. And, we'll see what happens. The good thing I saw, too, a lot of the kids played well this series. Josh Lowe, really good at the plate.
Aranda came up in his first at-bat, had an RBI.
Yeah, Walls had some nice hits this series. Luke Raley had some hits in this series. So I know the kids, they're all going to go through growing pains, but it was good for at least one series here. They all seem to be clicking, and that's what they need, obviously.
Yeah, they just got to do it against the Yankees when they come back around and all of their AL East compadres.
The Yankees got no hit on Saturday, which made me feel great.
They did.
They got no hit right before Isak Paredes hit his walk-off, and I'm like, that's a great Saturday right there. Great
especially
Saturday.
With Friday the night before winning the Game 5.
Yeah, the thing I didn't understand, by the way, on Saturday's game, which I don't know why this happened, but I think the Rays are winning the game, and Corey Kluber was taken out after, I had it here in my notes, 63 pitches. 5 1/3, and he's taken out with 63 pitches. He got the first out in the 6th, and then he's yanked because
Third
we got
time through.
lefties coming up.
And third time through.
I guess so. And then
Thou shalt not pitch third time through.
And then the Rays
the first
proceeded
Rays
to
commandment.
unravel after that. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, 63 pitches.
That's nothing.
Corey Kluber, I didn't understand that one. That
if
was
you're that, and plus, save your bullpen for God's sakes.
Yeah, that was the one. And then the Rays needed kind of really good starts because they were really taxed in their bullpen. So that's the one thing that didn't make any sense to me this week. And I thought they kind of put themselves in that situation of having to come back. But credit to them, they did. And of course, they did it in those great uniforms, by the way. The best.
I told you, I like everything about them except the socks. Socks are hideous.
The socks are nice.
Socks are hideous. And by the way, we got Brian Bradley coming up here, and I'll go into this maybe a little bit more later in the week. But this is the week that Mayor Welch has laid down to the Rays to tell them which side of the bay they're going to be on. Mayor Welch will learn that the Rays have no respect whatsoever for your deadlines, and they really don't care. So he'll learn what these other mayors have learned, or maybe he'll hold fast to the deadline, and we'll see. But it is nice to see all these new marketing efforts. So something is afoot in Tampa. There's no doubt about that. But we'll hopefully get some more answers this week. Like maybe he could do a press conference like he did before, and I got a question in, and some other people did. That would be nice, Stu, if you do a press conference. That'd be nice. All right, quick break. When we come back, Brian Bradley's going to join us. We'll get his take on this incredible Lightning run as we continue to celebrate the Lightning dynasty. Came up a little short this year, but they'll be back. Stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and his medical team will get you right. Testosterone replacement therapy, hormone replacement therapy. If you need to lose some weight, they've got some great diet plans as well. Modern techniques, modern philosophies, modern supplements. He works with the military, keeps our top pilots in shape. He can do the same for you. It's BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Give him a call. Tell him JP sent you. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Brian Bradley, the Lightning's first All-Star and leading scorer for those years. What's up, my friend? How are you? Tough loss, but great run.
Yeah. What's up, JP? Yeah, tough one last night. You know what can you say? I mean, you know what? Colorado, I mean, they played well. They probably deserved to win the cup, but you know what? I can't say enough about the Lightning, all the guys from Stamkos to Hedman to Kucherov, you know, the list goes on, Bazzi. Yep. They were outstanding. I mean, no one expected us to probably beat Toronto, then Florida, then the Rangers, and they get this far. Some just unfortunate breaks, and that's what happens sometimes. Yeah. I mean, you know what? Goaltending, Bazzi was spectacular, if you ask me. And, you know, we talked about the power play. It was okay. Needed to be better. And, you know what? We had some injuries, like Braden Point. Let's be honest with you. With Braden Point in the lineup, we probably have a good chance to beat Colorado.
Yep.
In my mind, I think we do. But, you know, we didn't. And, you know, you look at last night's game, a couple more controversial goals.
Yes.
I don't want to dwell on it too much because they did win the cup. We could sit here and be negative all day. But the first goal, I mean, you know, Brendan Hagel gets a penalty. Ref puts his hand up and, you know, Nick Paul touches the puck. In my book, that should have been blown right then. And, you know, they don't call it. And then they score a goal with the extra attacker. So I don't know. I'm trying to be good and positive, but at the end of the day, I think that's another missed call. And then Belmar gets hooked on the go-ahead goal. And, you know, I think Manson hooks him, knocks him down. They go 3-on-2. McKinnon makes a pass the other way. It ricochets off McDonough's skate and goes, you know, to left end. And he, you know, shoots a great shot far down. But, you know, unfortunate breaks, you know, and that's what happens. I mean, you know, I think they got some lucky bounces. But, you know, what can you say about the team? John Cooper, I mean, we got guys banged up. Cirelli, to me, was outstanding. Palat, oh, my God, 11 goals. I mean, you can just go down the list. I mean, you know, what these guys went through for the last almost 2 months, and to go to 3 Stanley Cups in the last 3 years is incredible. Can't say enough about the guys on the team. You know what? They're just awesome. Stamkos, Hedman. I mean, you know what? I feel for those guys because, you know, they wanted to win another one, and some of the new guys on the team, their first time, you know, playing in the Stanley Cup Finals. But, hey, you know what? We can regroup. We got to get healthy, get Braden Point back, and maybe we win 3 cups in the last 4 years. It can happen. It's a great team.
Yeah, and going back to the goal, when you're on the ice and the arm goes up and you see your guy touch the puck, they were kind of saying that happened simultaneously. But do you not, as a player, just like stop? Not stop, but kind of like, okay, that they're going to blow the whistle, and then they don't blow the whistle, and now you're kind of out of position, right?
Yeah, because the whole thing is once the hand goes up, when Hagel got the penalty, you know, Nick Paul touches the puck right in the slot. I mean, I've watched it.
Yeah.
It should have been blown dead right then because, you know what, you just freeze. You're just like, okay, we did what we had to do. We touched the puck. They got it. And then it doesn't stop. And all of a sudden, you know, the play goes on. And then Bazzi, I mean, he's in net. And, you know, it just kind of was a knuckle shot that went in the corner. But, I mean, to me, it's as soon as you touch the puck, it's a blown play. It's dead. So I don't understand how they can miss some of these calls. There was a lot of calls yesterday that were missed. Yeah. But I mean, you know, like I said, the Juan Manson. I mean, you know what? Another one. I mean, you know, they get a 3-on-2, and it was just a fluky play for McKinnon. You know, they hit McDonough's skate and it ricochets 90 degrees the other way. I don't even know. You couldn't do that play again if you tried it.
And it's a bouncing puck. It's a bouncing puck that he just whacks at the net, and it goes bar down right up in the corner. I mean, yes, it happens, but it seemed like every time they blew a call or missed an obvious call, as you see Bellemare flailing on the ice after getting hooked and turned around, and he can't get back on it leads to a 3-on-2. It's one thing to miss calls, and I know we sound like we're belly aching and excuse making, but whatever. It is what it is. It happened. It's one thing to miss calls, but when a guy gets hooked like that and you can't get back on a 3-on-2 and it leads to a goal, that's part of it. If you're 40 feet onto the ice, receiving the puck in a scoring position as Kadri was for the overtime winner, I mean, these are missed calls, but they're leading directly to goals, and huge goals in these 1-goal games or overtime winners. I mean, it is like, do your effing job, official. These are obvious calls. Make the freaking calls. This is what you get paid for. You're supposed to be the elite of the elite. How do you miss these? Beer league, they make these calls. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, JP, I couldn't agree more. You know what? Especially, the one that was, when the ref puts his hand up, I just do not understand. The Bellemare one, it happens a lot. Guys hook and try to get the advantage or, get that break. And, it probably could have been called if it's a regular season, but they weren't. But the other one to me it's as bad as the Kadri goal. McKinnon was 30 feet from the bench. It wasn't even close. I don't understand why everybody's talking about it wasn't a play.
Ridiculous.
But you know what? I don't want to, we could sit here and talk about it all day. It's not going to change history. The Colorado won. You got to give them credit. And you know what? At the end of the day, they're the Stanley Cup champs now. But you know what? You got to move forward.
Yep.
You got key injuries like points. Guys are banged up. You know what? I got Sergachev, Chernak, McDonough. Our defensive core, even Ruda, Hedman, and all those guys. Bogosian, they were outstanding. Oh my God, blocking shots. What they did to block shots, I give them credit. I don't know how they do that. It's just amazing to watch. And the whole team up front, even the fourth line. We talk about, Stamkos, and we talk about, Palat, we talk about Kucherov. Even Killorn and Strelli and Hagel, they didn't score much, but they were playing a defensive role too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to give up offense to play defense, and they shut other teams' lines down. And then the third line was really good where they moved Corey Perry up, and the fourth line with, Riley Nash came in, and with Maroon and the Bellemare. I thought they were outstanding in some of the games, like really good. So, and Vazzy and Ned. So coaching staff, I couldn't be more proud to be with the Tampa Bay Lightning organization. And then how about we talk about, Steve Griggs, they fly everybody out with Mr. Vinnick, all the employees out. And what about last game, JP? How about last game with where they do the $50,000 every game or $100,000?
Community hero, yeah.
Yeah, community hero. They do. Mr. Vinnick with all the employees gives away $1.220 million. That's just unbelievable. Yeah. What a great owner. Jeff and Penny Vinnick, I can't say enough about them. Everybody that plays hockey in the NHL would love to play for these guys.
Yep.
And I think everyone knows that. They're the greatest owners in not even hockey, but all sports. I don't care if it's baseball, basketball, football. They're the best owners, great people, humble and kind. And they do everything in the community, and they do a lot for the team. And, Steve Griggs and, Mark Pitts, our new CEO, and all those guys, it's just unbelievable job to fly all the employees out to Colorado, Denver for Game 5.
How about that?
That's just, you never hear that stuff. People don't really hear about that. And, last night was just so great to see what happened with the community hero with Mr. Vinnick and the money he donated. So, just got to say props out to the whole organization. It's been a long year. They've been to 3 Stanley Cups, and these guys got to be tired.
my God.
They got no juice left in their tank.
Yeah.
And you know what? They regroup, and we'll get ready for next year. But it can't be more proud to be a Tampa Bay Lightning or all the fans out there. It's been awesome to watch.
No doubt. Brian Bradley joining us here. Yeah, $1.22 million. Each full-time employee gets $5,000, and then they had to pass that on to their charity of choice. So it's not only saluting your full-time employees and how many companies are doing this, but they get to give $5,000 to their favorite charity. That's pretty freaking awesome. And that's why we could take a minute here to just say what this organization has done on and off the ice. I mean, they've been voted by ESPN as the best sporting franchise in North America. 6 out of 8 years they go to the conference final, 4 Stanley Cup finals. In a salary cap era, the impact that they've made in the community, with Jeffrey Vinnick with $3 billion of investment in Water Street, that's $3 billion of construction companies, people getting jobs. He's really transformed our downtown. I've never seen, to me, I worked in Atlanta for a couple of years. I worked for Arthur Blank, and he's done the same thing that Arthur has done in Atlanta with the building of the stadiums and investing in the communities. That's why they sell out, because people support this owner. And it's just amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, JP, couldn't have said it any better. I mean, Jeff and Penny are, like I said, they're just always behind the scenes. But you know what? You play for different teams. Like I played in Calgary, Vancouver, Toronto, and in Tampa. I mean, I wish I would have played for Jeff and Penny. They're just amazing people, amazing owners. But a lot of owners care about the teams, the players, and winning. But these guys care about the community. They care about the fans.
Really do.
They care about game day operations. John Franzone, what they do. For the pregame shows.
Best.
I mean,
The best.
it starts at the top, and it's just amazing to see what they do in the community. And you know what? We're just lucky to be in Tampa and have such great ownership here, because it doesn't happen on all these other teams. Trust me, there's horror stories out there from other owners and in sports that we know of. And I played in some other places that they just care about the team and the players and don't care about the city, but not Jeff.
Yeah.
I mean, what he did in Water Street, and what the $2, $3, $4 billion project downtown, and with Bill Gates. It's unbelievable. And then last night was just the tip. Like, it was amazing just to hear about what happened with his donation with the team and all the employees of $1.22 million. I mean, and Steve Griggs and being involved with that, with the employees, like the employees that went out for Game 5. It was one of the best games I've seen in the playoffs in years.
Oh, they'll never forget that.
Have everybody out there to watch the game was unbelievable.
Yeah, no, they'll never forget that. Brian Bradley joining us here. So, Brad, as we move forward and we look at this team for the years to come, I mean, Kucherov, Hedman, Vasilevsky, and Stamkos coming off his best season ever. I think get Pointer back. This team is ready to go. I don't know what's going to happen with Nick Paul and Andre Palat, but I think they'll certainly be able to keep one of them. I think they'll find a way. So this team looks great moving forward, and a lot of young defensemen. When you think about it, still Sergachev, Chernak, Cal Foote, these guys are young, and the core of this team's not going anywhere either.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've got a great team, and you just talked about all those guys. They're all going to be coming back. Nick Paul, that's probably their number one thing to sign. He's played incredible. I thought he was outstanding.
Yeah.
I mean, we traded Matthew Joseph. I mean, love Matthew, but Nick Paul's just a different level. Yeah. Can score, great physical, great skater, not afraid to get involved. But at the end of the day, we got a team that, we can win 3 Stanley Cups in 4 years. No question about it. But, I mean, injuries. I mean, Brady Point is just such a huge loss. I can't describe it. I mean, take Nate McKinnon or Cale Makar off Colorado and play us.
Exactly.
Point. They're not winning that cup.
Right.
I'll tell you right now. So at the end of the day, things happen. Things happen for a reason. And you know what? But they should have no shame or knock their heads down or anything like that. No. These guys played their hearts out. I mean, they made us proud. And you know what? Everybody thought they were going down in Game 5 in Denver, and they actually played their asses off.
Yeah, they did.
In Game 5. They gave everything they had in their tank in Game 5 to get back here. And you know what? Came up just a little short on some calls again. But at the end of the day, Colorado they were a good team. And you know what? We move forward, and you know what? We're still a lot of good things. Won this back-to-back Stanley Cups, and great group of guys coming back. We got some good things with like I said, for guys like Hedman and Ryan McDonough, they're veteran guys who've been around a long time, and, Ruda and Bogosian. But, look at the two young guys. Like, I thought Sergachev matured a lot in his Stanley Cup playoffs, even better than last year. He was awesome, and Chernak the same way. They're young guys, so they're going to be around for a long time, So we got a lot of really good upside to our team here. So we got to make some moves in the off seasons like they normally do. But at the end of the day, they're like, they say in Vegas right now, Tampa Bay is number 2 to win the Stanley Cup next year.
Yep.
So how's that sound?
Works for me.
Number 2. Colorado's 1, and we're 2. So Vegas kind of knows what team we have right at the gate. And you know what? We always talk about everything else, and we didn't even talk about it. But I know we have. But when I just ranted there, Vasilevsky's still the best goalie in the NHL.
That's right.
I don't care what anybody said. And we can go as far as he wants to, and no one wants to play him. But at the end of the day, they had a few off the bank pinball shots that went in the net that I don't care who's in net. No one stopped, and it's just fluky.
You go back and look at most of the goals, save game 2. They were all kind of fluky, but again, I'm not. I know this sounded like we're belly aching about, but the Avs, full credit. They're a fast team. They're very skilled. They did a hell of a job locking it down in the third period. I was surprised the Lightning couldn't get a shot, but you could just see it. They were out of gas. And it was because they were out of gas because Colorado was playing so damn hard and they were suffocating them. So full marks to the Avs. They did a great job. You know what? Yep. I look forward to developing a little rivalry with them in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's do this again next year with Braden Point. And maybe we'll add a little speed to our team in the offseason. Never know. So we'll see you again next year in the Stanley Cup. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, there's no reason we can't. Like I said, they've got 2 or 3 months off to recoup, and you know what? They need it.
Oh, boy, do they ever.
It's been a battle. I mean, these guys got to be just absolutely ice bagged down today, and you know what? They're disappointed, but at the end of the day, they should nothing to be ashamed of or hang their heads down. When they walk around Tampa, man, everybody should give a little clap to all these guys for what they did and what they did for the city, for the team. From Stamkos to Hedman. I mean, when I see any of the guys, I'm going to go up and shake their hands and say, wow, that was incredible. Almost did 3 in a row. And especially in the modern era with salary caps. When you're talking teams that won 3 and 4 in a row, there was no salary caps. And teams back in the days where you only had 6 teams, well, that can happen. But when you got 32 teams and the salary caps and Julian Brisebois got to make stuff with Matthew Darsh, they got to put different things together to keep under the cap. It's not easy. So, got to give the whole organization credit with Julian, Matthew Darsh, the scouting staff, John Cooper and all his staff. Like, man, the guy hasn't even won Coach of the Year, and he's the best coach in the NHL by far. I don't get it. That's another one. Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Brads, listen, man, thank you so much for all your time. You have been phenomenal with us, coming on almost each and every day during this run. So really appreciate your expertise and your personality and your fun. Take some time off. Enjoy, my friend. I know you've been traveling a lot, but it's been a hell of a run. Thanks, partner.
Thanks, JP. It's been always a pleasure to be on your show. Great guy. And you know what? For all the Bolt Nation fans out there, we'll be back. Trust me.
Right.
We'll get our team back, and we'll see what happens next year. Over and out, and couldn't be more proud of the boys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Great, Brian Bradley there. It's when you get this far, it's not a bad season. It's not it wasn't a failure. Even though the Lightning were going for that 3-peat, there's no way I'm going to look at this season as a failure in any way, shape, or form. No way.
You can't say it's a failure. There's there's no angle you can draw. I remember when the season began in October, and I know we were obviously in football frenzy at the time, but I remember we were talking about the Lightning, like we did a little preview, and we kept saying the whole thing about the Islanders. We're like, listen, we've enjoyed the last 2 years. We've said in all likelihood, this team's not winning 3 in a row. We knew that.
Very little chance.
And even in this series alone, we knew the number, 1942, the only time it's been done in a Stanley Cup final. Full disclosure, I thought the Lightning were going to lose Game 5 on Friday.
Yeah.
I did. Once they won Game 5, I'm like, I kind of threw all the stats out the window, and I was like, you know what? They're going to win Game 6.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get to 7, and, I felt it, And unfortunately, close, but not close enough. We get that. But, I looked at it. Lightning have played – we talked about the whole fatigue factor. And I told you I thought it wasn't as much as that anymore. They played 269 games combined over the last 3 seasons.
Wow.
269. And I know that if it was a normal scenario, you would have played the rest of the 2019-20 season, regular season. Obviously, same thing with last year. But they happened so quickly. There wasn't as much. They were so compacted. It's almost the equivalent to playing the whole thing at once.
Yeah.
Maybe even harder. I don't know. But 269 games they just had to play.
And I think 84 playoff games?
I don't think it's quite 80.
64?
Yeah, I think it was 64. It's in the 60s. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even some of the younger players on this team, I looked at Sergachev and Cirelli. It feels like it was just yesterday we were welcoming these guys into the team. They've each played 92 playoff games.
It's unbelievable.
92.
Yeah. You think about 60-some playoff games in 3 years, compacted into 3 years. That's almost an extra full regular season.
Yeah.
And the Avs, didn't play nearly that many games. And I'm not saying that you're fresh they were kind of fresh for the playoffs when it started. I thought the Lightning were. Then they get the sweep over the Panthers, which really, really helped. But they just did look out of gas. And again, that credit the Avalanche for making them look out of gas.
Yeah.
That's the reason they're out of gas.
I'm not even saying that
they're so hard to play against.
Yeah. I'm not saying that as in the sense of, Colorado had the advantage, which it's true they did. But I'm saying that more of a team that has won 2 Stanley Cups already. And all the talk all season was, is the drive going to be there? Are they really going to go after this third one? And at time to the regular season, it looks like they were really struggling.
Right.
And once they got into the playoffs, they turned that switch on and they got into that mode. And you look at the way the players have talked this entire run, the way John Cooper has talked, the reactions yesterday. I'm sure you saw Andrei Vasilevsky going down the tunnel.
Yep.
How pissed he was.
Yeah.
That guy has no right, honestly, to be pissed at anything. The way he played and stood on his head for this team. But he is. Because these guys
if I were him, I would be pissed at some of those goals.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. But I still think, he's the greatest goaltender in the world. He's got 2 cups. He's in the prime of his career. And I thought he played his heart out in this series, excluding what happened, the whole debacle in game 2. And he still is wearing it on his sleeve. He's very competitive. He wants to win. I felt that with everybody on that team. And so that tells me as I transition here that they're not going anywhere.
No.
They're not going anywhere.
No.
And you look at the roster, it's a lot younger than we want to think. There's a lot of youth still on this team that's not even in the technical prime of their careers, and they're under contract. So they're not going away.
I love it. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Greg Wolf's going to join us at 11:45, our in-game host, to kind of take us behind the scenes of this whole incredible run. And up next, a landmark Supreme Court decision. No, not that one. This is another one affecting sports. So stay with us. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you, and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Our good friend Greg Wolf, Lightning in-game host, will join us at 11:45. We get to some other stories here. And thanks to the Golden Diamond Source for being a great sponsor of this particular show. I got an MC job coming up here in a couple of weeks with the Denim and Diamonds, which has been a big benefactor for their Across the Bay, Hands Across the Bay charity for many years. We're doing some other charities this year, but for many years we've been raising money for Julie and Steve Weintraub's charity there. And they do such great works. We always say keep everything local, right? Shop at local places, and none better than the Gold and Diamond Source. And if you're looking to pop the question this summer or upcoming, you got to go to the Golden Diamond Source. 5 years financing, interest-free, so you can get a great diamond for 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks. Go in there and find out what you can buy, what you can afford. It's a pretty good deal. And, of course, your diamond never loses its value. You can bring it back for whatever you paid, and you can use that to 100% towards a upgraded ring and diamond like Nick will be doing in a few years. So that's always a great option for that. And if you're looking for a watch or any other type of jewelry, or if you've got some jewelry that your wife hasn't been wearing or you haven't been wearing, bring it in. They'll give you a top dollar and you can buy something new. So everything there for you at the Golden Diamond Source, designers, repair, whatever you need. 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Well, there's been a Supreme Court decision, and ain't no way we're talking about that other one. Joe Kennedy, who was the former high school football coach out in state of Washington, he was there for 7 years, very popular coach. Well, he decided to, he always was, taking a knee by himself at the 50-yard line after each and every game to say a prayer. And soon some other coaches and players joined him. And the school board there said, no, sorry, you can't do that. You're forcing prayer on the players. And by coercing them, if they feel like they're not praying, they won't maybe get playing time or something like that. Just a ridiculous argument. But he was forced to not do that and was fired. He said, I'm going to keep doing it. So he stood his ground, took it all the way to the Supreme Court, and today he has won. In the court's opinion, Justice Neil Gorsuch wrote in part, here a government entity sought to punish an individual for engaging in a brief, quiet, personal religious observance, doubly protected by the free exercise and free speech clauses of the First Amendment. And the only meaningful justification the government offered for its reprisal rested on a mistaken view that it had a duty to ferret out and suppress. He continued, religious observances, even as it allows comparable secular speech, the Constitution neither mandates nor tolerates that kind of discrimination. And to that, I say, bravo. Interesting. Cambridge Christian, where my son played many years ago in the state championship game, I was there for that game. We were playing another Christian school, and we had asked the venue, which was the Citrus Bowl, a public stadium, if we could use their PA system to do a pregame prayer. And they said, no, you're not allowed to do that. You can't use our PA system. So I think they were part of this lawsuit for a little while. I'm not sure if it was involved in it up to the Supreme Court level, but very similarly. And I think it felt weird at the time, but I guess we used like a bullhorn since it wasn't part of the actual PA system, the public PA system, and prayed anyway. But I don't know if it was part of it, but it's certainly in a similar vein. And I think that's a win for many of those folks there. A couple other stories to get to. Deshaun Watson is going to have his hearing with the NFL tomorrow. So I guess we're going to find out what the recommendation is going to be, or maybe this is just another hearing. I don't know when the actual punishment is going to come down, but it's going to be pretty soon.
Yeah, they said that I think Sue L. Robinson is the name of the judge doing it. She was appointed by both the NFL and NFLPA, and there's a chance she could come to a decision within a week. I'm here. I guess I heard last week on that, and the NFL obviously wants this wrapped up by training camp, which they have exactly a month to the day to do. So we should get a resolution soon. But we had this discussion last week that if you're Baker Mayfield, if you stay there, you're starting. I mean. Right,
but he's not. He's not going to play there. He doesn't want to play there.
Anymore.
He didn't want to play. He said he's not going to play there, and the Browns don't want him there. So it's going to be Jacoby Brissett as their starting quarterback to start, depending on how many games Deshaun Watson gets. And I don't think it's out of the realm that he's probably going to get the whole season. But you know what? I think the NFL might just do 6 or 8 games, get a bunch of backlash, and just say, whatever, we're playing games. And you know what? And the fact of the matter is, it'll blow over.
But the NFL wants the whole year, though, is the thing.
Do they?
That's what we're hearing.
Do they? Now, the Players Association, I'm hearing, is lathering up for a fight on this.
I mean, again, we've had this discussion. I'm not going to be the guy to tell you if Deshaun Watson. We don't know the whole story, but it doesn't look great.
There's a lot of smoke.
There's a lot of
fire here, actually.
We're beyond smoke at this point.
Yeah.
We went from, and here's the thing that I guess bothers me about it is we went from I'm working to clear my name. Well, if you're settling, I don't know how that's clearing your name, right? I get it. You're going to end up settling. I got it. But
that's tricky. It's tricky. It's very when you tricky. Say that, yeah.
It's very tricky, but I don't know. To me, this is a burning fire at this point. Yeah. And I don't know. I hate to be whoever's in charge of having to defend it.
Listen, the facts in the case are pretty clear here now. There were at least 22 different, up to 26 different women that experienced the same thing. And now we learned that the Texans were providing hotel rooms and non-disclosure agreements. And we all know this is not therapeutic massage. You don't go to 22 different ladies off of Instagram to get therapeutic massages. Your therapeutic massages in the football world are usually done by team personnel or someone that you pick that knows your body, and it's a consistent therapeutic massage. This is exactly what it appears to be. And when you hear those women talk that have been interviewed by HBO, they seem extremely credible to me, and there is no doubt that they were sexually assaulted. Again, I wasn't there in the grand jury room to see what evidence was brought forward, but how the Houston police cannot find a case here at all boggles the mind. But, again, I wasn't in the grand jury room. So he's not indicted. The evidence obviously is out there in the court of public opinion, and y'all can make your own decisions. But I'm going to tell you this. There's too much money at stake. The Cleveland Browns have a good opportunity to be one of the elite teams in the AFC. If Deshaun Watson is playing, he's already sat out a year. And I think the NFL will appear to try to do something stringent. The Players Association will fight back. They'll meet in the middle. He'll probably get 6 to 8 games. People will bellyache. But in the end, nothing's going to happen. Nothing real is going to happen. Well, I think, he was suspended last year, but he still got paid.
Was he suspended?
Yeah. Well, he wasn't suspended. He wasn't suspended, but he didn't play last year.
He could have played the entire season if he wanted to, I think.
Yeah.
Which is pretty telling anyway.
It's a bizarre situation, and I just want it to be over. I want to stop talking about it and move on. It is what it is, and I'm not saying that to disrespect the women at all. I just being a realist. I know what the NFL. The NFL doesn't give a rat's ass whether he sexually assaulted anybody or not. They don't.
No, I don't.
Their
think
actions
so
speak otherwise.
Yeah,
So.
their actions have always spoke otherwise.
Right.
The crazy things that they let slide.
They tend to make political or public statements and act like they care, but they really don't.
It's kind of like the whole domestic abuse stuff. They never get the punishments right. Never get the punishments right. It makes zero sense, because if anybody else, and I get it, it's apples to oranges, I guess, comparing it to the real world. But if any of us were caught hitting a female on video,
Yeah, this is what I don't understand. It's like, I don't know how these guys are getting off of criminal charges for the most part.
I don't
get that.
You know the answer to it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Justice is not.
It's
justice may be blind, but
I've come to the realization. I guess it's apple to oranges. We're real people, and they're not.
They got very, very good attorneys with lots of money. Absolutely.
But yeah, the whole thing about this, about wanting it to be over. I mean, could you imagine how close were you? I mean, the Bucks to like maybe putting an offer in. I'm sure they did put an offer in for Deshaun Watson. How close were they to doing that? Could you imagine if we were having to talk about this in the Bucks sense?
Yeah.
Right. And there's a reason why the Bucks were never. I don't think we're ever really going to do it. It's because of this. I mean, forced to have to answer every question, to deal with this legal proceeding, to have $230 million basically up in the air right now.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why you guaranteed him. You didn't have to guarantee him all that money, but it's a Browns decision they're going to have to live with.
I guess it was, he had a no trade comp in his contract. So, and the Browns wasn't one of the places he said he wanted to go. So when they wanted him and the deal was going to get done, he said, all right, well, you got to guarantee it. Why not? Why wouldn't you ask for it? And they said, okay. So that's on the Browns.
Yeah.
It's not on Deshaun.
That's their problem.
Yeah. This interesting story here. NFL Hall of Famer Warren Sapp recently labeled Colin Kaepernick's workout with the Raiders a disaster. And just days after those comments went viral, Sapp's assertion has been shockingly dismissed by Kaepernick's agent, Jeff Nally. This is from Outkick.com. Bill Graff of Outkick detailed Sapp's retelling of what he gathered about the Kaepernick workout. Quote, I heard it was a disaster. I heard it was one of the worst workouts ever. Nally just disputed that because, of course, he's his agent. As Outkick writes, it's hard to side with Nally here. Kaepernick's Las Vegas workout occurred in late May, and NFL training camps are less than a month away. Since Cap got off his knee and tossed a couple of balls, interest from the Raiders have been non-existent, and the rest of the league has been equally quiet. Quote from Sapp, I'm wondering how the hell this tryout happened and the tape didn't get out. That's a good question. Kaepernick is 34 years old, last played in 2016, where he went 1-10, 11 starts for a very bad San Francisco team, completing less than 60% of his passes, fumbling 9 times. So none of that comes as a shock to me, but where is that tape? There's certainly a tape of the workout.
I don't know, but I'm trying to figure out. I know Warren Sapp played for the Raiders, obviously,
He did,
but
yes.
So I'm sure he has some kind of contacts.
Oh, of course he does.
Somewhere
yes.
in the building there.
Yes,
but,
of course he does.
I don't know. I think Warren, he might have a tendency to, I don't know. Would it surprise you if he's over exaggerating a little bit with the word disaster?
No, it wouldn't shock me.
It wouldn't shock me at all. So
also wouldn't shock me if the workout was a disaster.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
But who knows? Who knows? But Warren Sapp, he's going to say whatever he.
Oh, yeah. He's going to get back out there. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to chat with our good friend Greg Wolf, in-game host of your Tampa Bay Lightning, and get his thoughts on this incredible run of the Bolts. Give us a little backstage pass to some of the great folks he's met on this run. It's an incredible list. So we'll chat with him when we come back. Stay with us. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799.
Pure Sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco was starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. The world of smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com.
Pure Sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, our celebration of this Lightning dynasty continues, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center here in our second hour and the Gold and Diamond Source. And we bring in our good friend Greg Wolf, in-game host, and so much more for the Tampa Bay Lightning. What's up, partner? How are you?
What's up, Jay Pizzo? How you doing this morning, man?
A little sleep-deprived like you, my friend, but we want to celebrate this team. It just, it's a bummer, but it still doesn't feel like a loss to me today. I'm just so thankful for this organization and what this team has given us for the last 3 years. It almost feels like a dub. But I just want to get your thoughts on just what you've had a great seat to this run the past few years, and your collection of pictures with celebrities is second to none, my friend. What's it been like for you on this run?
They've all kind of blended together, JP, to be honest with you, because it's been, such a deep run these last 3 seasons. Obviously, even in the COVID, year, we were still, doing stuff with fans, even in a limited capacity at the arena, just trying to connect with our fans to celebrate. So going all the way back to that to last night, it has been an epic 3-year run. And, it's been nothing short of spectacular. It's all been kind of a whirlwind, to be honest with you. But I agree with you, man. Even though we did not hoist the cup last night, I still felt like we had so much to be proud about, so much we've accomplished, more than any other team in the last 40-plus years, what the Lightning have done here in the last 3 years. So we have no reason whatsoever to hang our heads. I mean, it is nearly impossible to do what we've done in a salary cap era, and it is an absolute testament to Mr. Vinnick and Julian Breezewell. I mean, come on, ending the night last night with $1.2 million donations for 244 staff members at $5,000 a pop to the community and their charity of their choice. I mean, come on. It was almost like a cherry on top of the season last night to do that as well. So we have nothing to be sad about, nothing to hang our heads about. And believe it or not, folks, preseason starts in September. You know, both Brewfest is August 5th. It's like we really don't have much time to relax, because when you're as quality of a team as we are and you go so deep into the summer, you know, there's really no time to relax. I mean, we'll be back at it as soon as you blink. It's going to be hockey again.
I don't think any of the players wanted to hear that. So if you're listening, guys, turn it off.
It's just a fact, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. Those boys need a break.
Yeah, this is what happens.
Can they give us like the first month off for this run? Can they just like say, you guys, you know, we'll give you a 500 record and don't start till October? That would be fun. So, but I don't think it works that way. So, no, but seriously, I mean, how much fun have you had during this run? I mean, you talk about you've met every superstar that's come through. Give us some of the stories of people, the pictures you've taken, the whole nine. What's that been like?
So the first one this season that really kind of kicked off the playoffs was Sugar Shane McClanahan from the Rays.
Yes.
And he kind of set the tone. It was funny, too, because, I mean, that guy's on a mound in front of, you know, thousands of fans every single game night. And when I told him, I'm like, this is what you're going to do tonight to fire off some testing coils, he was so nervous. He's like, man, what if I don't do it right? I'm like, Shane, you don't have to say anything. All you got to do is just push the button and hold the button. And he was so nervous about it, because I was like, I guess, you know, when you're on the mound, you're just in the zone. But when all the lights are on you and it's your moment and we're all looking at you, I guess it's a whole different vibe, which is kind of interesting to me to hear that perspective of somebody who is such a stud pitcher for Major League Baseball to be nervous about pushing a button. It was hilarious, man. So that was a great conversation, you know, that started things off this season. Obviously, having Brooks and Booger and Rondé all together. Oh my God, man. That for me was a hell of a moment to have those three Super Bowl Tampa Bay Buccaneer legends all with us at the same time. That was pretty epic. Obviously last night, Vita Vea and the week before was Mike Allstott, both chugging beers, right after they fired off the coils. So those were also great moments. But going back to last season with John Travolta and Bret Michaels, and obviously we saw Charles Barkley was here this season, and Darius Rucker, and Hulk Hogan was there last night. I mean, that to me is a true testament of when you have a winning product and people and celebrities really want to associate with greatness. They're gravitating towards us now. We are building a fan base globally. I saw it back in 2019 for the Global Series when we were in Stockholm, Sweden, and 90% of that building was all Lightning fans. So the global Distant Thunder is a real thing. The celebrities have bought in, and it's just an exciting time to be a Lightning fan. That's for sure.
Greg Wolf joining us here, the in-game host. And what the folks at Lightning Vision, John Franzone and Felicia and Celine, who's leaving us, who's been my production assistant for years and years. I mean, this team that we have put together is amazing. And the work that goes into it, and I'm just a very, very small part, but you guys put in so much work, and the show that we put on, I'm so proud of it. And I think it reflects the excellence of the team, which is not easy to do. And you yourself do a phenomenal job, but just firing up the crowd. Even I got into it this time because I could finally hear the crowd right before everybody was in their seats. And it's such a great feeling when you start, are you ready? And they just erupt. I mean, is this not the funnest job ever?
Oh, by far, JP. I am blessed every single day when I get to that arena, and I'm just so thankful that I get to do this for a living. And you said it, man. Lightning Vision, by far, are the best game production crew in all of sports. I mean, we've seen football games, we've seen baseball games, we've seen basketball games, we've seen hockey games, but to see the production and how much goes into that, I've even asked the NHL folks that were there with us this entire run. I said, hey, you guys are in all the buildings pretty much the entire season, the entire playoffs. Is anybody even on the remotely on the same level of production that we put on for our fans at Amalie Arena with the projection and the lasers and the music and the videos we had the whole metaverse this year inside the arena. So they said absolutely not. There's only a few teams that do the on-ice projection, but to the level that Lightning Vision does it, it is second to none. And we are truly spoiled, I believe now, having experienced that for years and years. Our fans are coming to expect that now, which is great, for us, but for other fans that come here, they are absolutely blown away by not just, the game on the ice, but the whole experience they get when they experience a playoff game in Tampa. So kudos to them. Again, they continue to set the bar. And obviously with next season only on the horizon here, not that far away, I expect the bar to be even raised for next year.
Greg Wolf, our in-game host, joining us here. You mentioned the All-Star beer chug. That was an all-timer. I don't think I've seen a better one than that in Amalie Arena. I'm trying to think back on. I think we got any of the old offensive linemen involved.
We did.
Yeah.
So Vita actually did it
Yes.
last year in his seats with a tall boy.
That's
And
right.
he was
That's right.
chugging tall, right? So he kind of set it off, and then obviously last year we had Dave Anderchuk. And Dave did it, but fans were saying he was chugging it too slow.
Right.
So when Dave fired the coils this year, I was like, "Where's your beer?" And he just kind of looked at me and he was like, "I got to work tonight," because he was doing stuff on Valley Sports. So he didn't have a chance. He was like, "I can't be chugging beers and then I got to go on Valley." And I was like, "Okay, I totally understand that." But it was great to see Allstott set it off. And then of course Vita last night was like, "I can't be done by the A train. I got to do one too." So he did it too last night. So it's kind of come their own little tradition for the football players to kind of do their thing. So
I love it.
It's kind of cool to see that's kind of become a tradition for them.
Oh, Scotty Miller, I gotta say, did not distinguish himself last night. He was on a jumbotron. He took one sip of his tall boy, then kept it in his cheeks, and then gulped it down. I was like, bro, you're gonna get crushed for that one. Well, we love you anyway, Scotty.
Sure.
We love you anyway.
Doubt, man.
Well, anything else you want to add before I know you're running around this morning? Anything else you want to tell the fans or anything?
Just to thank our Bolts Nation family. You guys by far, season in and season out, have demonstrated what it's like to be a class act fan base. We have a lot of fan bases that come into our building and act a fool and act a ass, and we always take the high road. We're always a class act organization, but I truly believe that bleeds down to the fan base. So to the entire Bolts Nation, I love you guys. It's been a hell of a run. I'm excited to see you guys literally in about a month, because we've got Bolts Brewfest August 5th at Amalie Arena. So if you don't have tickets yet for that, I will be hosting that party. It's an amazing event. You can get tickets at boltsbrewfest.com. But like you said, the players, I'm sure, are not listening right now. They're probably trying to gather their stuff and get out of Dodge and relax and heal up. But the preseason starts in September, guys. So we're really not that far away from Lightning hockey again. So I know they don't want to hear that, but I know our fans want to hear that. They want to get back into the building soon. So, but just thank you to everybody, you too, JP, the entire Lightning Vision crew, the city of Tampa. It's been an amazing run, and I'm ready to do it all over again.
Oh, you are nonstop energy, bro. I got to take a break. All right, man. Appreciate your time as always, Greg. We'll see. I guess we'll see you soon enough at the Brewfest.
You will.
Thanks, buddy.
You will, brother.
All right.
Go Bolts.
The Greg Wolf right there. So true. I mean, it's like no time off. I think of July, August, and they're starting to work out too, because they got to show up in shape at training camp. That's a lot of hockey, man.
Too much, and they put themselves through more than any other athlete, I think, in any sport. I think they had what's his face. I think it was Mark Schlereth on the ESPN. They're asking him what is NFL's impressions of hockey players, and he's like, "We think you're all nuts."
Yeah,
and that's bananas. An NFL. That's an offensive lineman saying that about y'all. It's crazy.
What do baseball players think when they see Landeskog get pushed off the ice because he can't get? I mean, it's like those guys breathe on each other and they're both down. It's like call the medics out.
No idea, but hey, the good thing is, I mean, we'll have more time to just talk more Rays baseball throughout this summer. Obviously, hopefully they get hot. Before you know it, training camp's going to be here.
That's
We're
right.
a month away.
Yeah,
Bucks football. I cannot wait.
Yeah, we'll start doing some position previews with the great Scott Reynolds at Pewter Report to get you ready for football season. Yeah, the football season is not far away, even closer than hockey season. Our thanks to Dave Randorf voice of Lightning on television, who joined us today. Also, Brian Bradley, and of course, the great Greg Wolf. If you missed anything, fanstreamsports.com is our website. You can get all the podcasts there. You can get it on Apple and Spotify, YouTube. Please subscribe all those places, and you'll get notified when the latest episode is up. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow.